Welcome to CCI Drive Time, the podcast for vended laundry distributors. I'm Steve with CCI, using your drive time to cover laundromat trends, payment systems, and practical topics you can use in the field. Today, we're going to cover what our products are and where the right application is to use them. We have 3 solutions available. A lot of distributors actually don't realize that we have 3 unique solutions and that they have a place depending on the customer that you're talking to. And often I am asked, what's the difference between LaundryCard and FlexRF and even FasCard in that matter? And we're going to cover those differences in a little bit of detail today to help you walk away more prepared and ready to talk to investors that are looking for a payment solution. So the confusion is, well warranted. CCI started over 25 years ago with the LaundryCard solution, and it was our only solution we had for many years. And then we introduced FasCard around 2012, and then the FlexRF product came a few years after FasCard launched. And for those long-term distributors that have been working with us for a long time, they really only knew us as LaundryCard, a coin replacement system, and didn't realize that we had hybrid solutions, that we had cloud-based solutions. And getting out of that rut is really what this podcast is about. It's about explaining what the options are, when to apply them, and who the right owner-operators are for them. So in today's episode, we are going to try to help you guide customers in the right place. I think with anything that you sell, if you don't understand the difference in the products, you're going to end up with frustration from customers, which comes from a lack of trust, typically coming from them ending up with something that they didn't really want because you didn't understand what it is they needed. Buying decisions get delayed when customers don't truly understand the differences between the offerings that are out there. And so we need to be crystal clear in that to help move the sale along. Missed opportunities, obviously, if we don't know what we offer, if we don't know what's available, if we don't understand what the customer needs, then we are likely going to stall that decision potentially to a missed opportunity, maybe to a competitor that understands the solutions better. So we want to avoid that. And then if you do make a sale, an uninformed sale, let's say, there can be challenges with after sale support issues, particularly around the customers not actually getting what they want, and that delaying the project that you have that is likely much larger than just the payment system itself. And certainly we want to avoid that. So today we want to make sure that you understand that CCI doesn't just have overlapping products by accident, that there's intent to that. We'll go over that. Each system exists for a different owner's mindset. And I think you as a distributor need to understand the options so that you can guide the decisions. And we'll talk a little bit about being a little more assertive and helping customers come to a conclusion, help them come to a decision. There's really no bad products on the market. I think really what it is bad fit. And so we need to avoid the bad fit situation so that your customers feel like you have done your job as a consultant. So the distributor, before you name any systems, I think you need to start asking questions up front. Ask them to yourself, ask them to the store owner. And the first thing you want to ask is, what kind of owner am I talking to? What kind of operator am I talking to? Is this somebody that wants to run remotely? They have another career and they expect the laundromat to be kind of a second business for them. Is this something they want to be actively involved in and they have expectations of opening multiple locations, and this is a career choice that they are making a change to? Where did that customer see products? If they're asking you about payment systems, are they asking you about products they saw online because they look popular, because they're named often? Are they purely interested in the cheapest solution, and that's the attitude they come forward with? So ask questions and start to get the frame of reference so that you can start guiding them towards the right solution. And we talk about the owner profile. I think, how do they want to live with their laundry? Do they want to be tightly connected to it? Do they want to run with staff that stays close to it and they act as a remote manager? Maybe they're an existing store owner and they have frustrations. Are the frustrations around some of the operational tasks that they can't escape? And then certainly you need to figure out how much change are they ready for? If they're existing coin operated, are they ready to make that change? And we've talked in other episode about, the fears surrounding eliminating coin, but you need to ask that question so you know what you're walking into so that you can fit them to the right product. One of the biggest things that I see store owners do when they start to ask the payment system question, that is a big mistake, and we all need to be on the same page with, which is them trying to compare products that should not be compared to each other, whether they're CCI systems that they're being compared or CCI systems with a competitive product. The functionality and the philosophy behind those products can be completely different. And so trying to compare a hybrid system with a coin and credit card solution to a card-only solution, it's just not an apples to apples comparison. It's going to get people even more confused and go right back to where I started, which is, buying delays. The decision delay is going to be the paralysis by analysis, not truly understanding the differences between the products. We shouldn't be comparing app-based solutions to non-app-based solutions. App-based solutions should be compared to other app-based solutions. So if that's what they want, that's what you should compare it to. But well too often I see someone comparing like an integrated app solution to a full card system. And those are just not good decisions. It's not a good path to go down. It's going to cause way more confusion than it needs to. So let's get started and talk about LaundryCard. Again, LaundryCard is the product that started CCI over 25 years ago. It's a well-developed, aged, seasoned. It's gone through iterations and iterations of improvement over the years. It's been around forever. We have a ton of loyal customers. I use it in my own personal stores. It's just a product. It's a total workhorse. But it has an owner profile. And I think that LaundryCard is ideal when you're talking about a little bit larger facilities. And so for me, that would mean anything that's over 40 pockets is a good starting fit for LaundryCard. Certainly owners that want nothing to do with coins, LaundryCard needs to stay within the equation. And then, although it's not required, attended stores typically do well with LaundryCard because there's a lot of management features in there, which leads me to the other owner profile, which is they want advanced employee management features. They want deep marketing tools, and they want to just automate as much as they can. Then LaundryCard needs to be in the equation, is a good fit. Aside from that, someone that has a really strong preference for an on-premise solution. So for those of you that are not familiar with the term on-premise, that means that all of the data for the system lives in the store. It's not in the cloud. It's not sitting on the internet. All of the data is in the store. So those buyers or those store owners that have a preference towards not wanting to be dependent on an internet connection. They're concerned about data privacy, maybe to a point where they just want physical control over the data that their systems are then LaundryCard is a good fit for them. And then, as it may be mentioned already, but just locations with unreliable internet connections, LaundryCard may be a good fit because it doesn't really require an internet connection. Certainly, it's enhanced with an internet connection. Credit card transactions, that sort of thing, typically require an internet connection. There's remote access capabilities that internet's required for. But without an internet connection, LaundryCard can run really smoothly. Doesn't require it. Actually, it was created at a time when the internet wasn't really a commonly used thing. And so it continues to run in that on-premise mode quite well. Some of the mistakes I see when distributors are proposing LaundryCard to investors is not clearly explaining the ROI. LaundryCard is our flagship product. It is the most expensive solution that we offer, but not clearly understanding or not clearly explaining the on-premise nature of it, all of the hardware that's required in order to deliver that on-premise solution, doesn't really do a good job of when people start to compare solutions. So when you're talking LaundryCard, we're talking about an investor that is going to own all of the equipment, the database, the software, the hardware, the network. Everything lives locally and it's isolated. Now, that's not to say there aren't a lot of features that allow it to do things outside of that store, but the core product itself, the owner buys it, invests in it, and manages it, runs it, and they own it. And then that higher upfront investment needs to be properly followed by a clear understanding of the ROI behind coin removal, because it's only used in a coinless environment. And we've talked in other episodes about the ROI, but let's not forget the penny incremental pricing is huge, the float, the time savings, all of those factors that go into eliminating coin are true when it comes to LaundryCard. So that upfront investment is there, but it is strongly supported by the terrific ROI that comes from eliminating coins. And the other thing that people don't realize about LaundryCard and the advantages of an on-premise solution is the low operational fees that go along with it. Because you have purchased everything up front, you are not beholden to any cloud service to keep the product running. As long as you take care of it, as long as you keep it clean, you follow the proper preventative maintenance procedures, that product should run for years and years and years without trouble. And you get to decide what kind of services that you want to add in that might have an additional cost. So, the operational fees can be extremely low and even zero with LaundryCard. Now, again, there are options to do additional things that do require some internet connectivity and some other services. So there may be some fees that you elect to sign up for, but LaundryCard makes it optional. We have a number of LaundryCard customers that pay us nothing to operate their store, not even in support. We do have support plans to help customers keep their systems current and working well. But if you don't want to subscribe to a support plan, you can just pay us when you need us, and we make it as simple as that. So. And then the last thing I'll say about LaundryCard is because it's been around for so long, we have a lot of really loyal customers that have been using it for a long time. But because they also are aware of the other products that we may make or even other competitive products that are out there, they get intrigued by those other solutions. But one of the things that I've noticed over many years of let's say hardcore LaundryCard fans that have ready to do another system, new store, another retool, and they start to look at other solutions, maybe it's our FasCard or our FlexRF product, to maybe make the decision to make the change to go to a different product, to ultimately come back to us and say, oh, I wish I had stayed with LaundryCard. Not because the other products are bad or there's anything wrong with them, but there's a comfort level that comes with that, and they often are worried that LaundryCard isn't going to keep up with the times. It's not going to keep up with the functionality. And I think we've proven over the 25 years that we have continued to upgrade it, continued to improve it, and add the kind of functionality that customers expect when it comes to a payment system. So LaundryCard's a great path. It's a great solution for everybody, but particularly keep it in mind if someone already has LaundryCard. We need to really make sure they understand that LaundryCard continues to improve and get better over time. So the product that gets confused with LaundryCard the most is our FlexRF product. And so I would describe FlexRF as kind of our budget flexible, cloud-based, coinless path. I guess that's the best kind of short summary of FlexRF. Over the years we've been doing this, we saw competitive systems come on the market with very aggressive pricing. and we need to make sure that we offer solutions that can fit, that can compete on the market. And so we wanted to support owners that still wanted to have a coin replacement option, but they maybe can't justify, the hardware footprint of an on-premise system like LaundryCard. And so we created FlexRF under that guideline. And so, FlexRF has a owner profile that's important to recognize. And FlexRF is ideal, I think, for really any size store. So it doesn't really have to be just larger stores. It works great in smaller stores because it is flexible. Obviously, owners who want to go coinless and want to maximize the ROI behind going coinless, great solution there. But your budget constraint buyers, so whether there's a very specific loan amount that we have to fit the card system into a particular budget in order to stay within the guardrails that's needed for the business, or you just have really price conscious buyers, FlexRF has the most flexibility in the way we configure it to really fit any kind of budget needs that are out there. It can be one of the most lowest cost solutions on the market. It can be very competitively priced against everybody else as well, and still offer all the full functionality that you might expect from a coinless solution. It's valuable to distributors because you have the scalability behind it, you have the configurations that you can tie in to fit the right needs to the customer. And then it also has to be paired with customers that are not concerned about cloud. It is a cloud-based solution, so it does have its roots birthed in the internet. It needs an internet connection to run ideally. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't have a terrific offline capability, so we don't want to open up a lot of fear around operating a cloud-based solution. It runs really well without the internet connection for periods of time. I would not run it for weeks at a time without an internet connection, but it can run for a day, hours without an internet connection with very limited loss of functionality to the consumer. There is some functionality that can be lost, but we have lots of options with FlexRF to keep it online, where that comes from a cellular backup, or we have offline modes we can enable. We can ensure that the operations run smoothly, even without an internet connection. But the owner should be open to the cloud-based architecture, which means the data is going to be in the cloud. We're going to keep all the information there, and that opens us up to other functionality that is unique to cloud-based solutions. So, the key differentiation then when we're talking LaundryCard versus FlexRF is LaundryCard is on-premise. It's going to have a deeper marketing and employee tool set with very minimal fees going on. FlexRF is cloud-based, has a lot of flexible configuration options, allows it to be easier to fit tight budgets, and not to confuse things, it can be configured to work in a hybrid mode if you want. So if you have someone that wants to do loyalty card and coin, then FlexRF is the right way. LaundryCard has no sense of coins, never going to accept coins, but FlexRF does. And so that is an option for those who are just a little still hesitant to eliminate coin, but they really like the FlexRF solution. Again, both systems replace coins, but they solve a little bit different business needs so there's the differences are truly there, and you need to be able to understand the differences so that you can clearly present those to your owners and fit the buyers with the right product. And again, our sales team is here to help you further dive into some of the uniquenesses between the products. So the last product that we have is our hybrid solution. It's called FasCard. I think some distributors can connect CCI with LaundryCard. I mentioned that at the beginning, and don't realize that we have this hybrid solution. And that again is why this podcast exists, why all of our messaging is getting stronger to help you determine what products we do offer so you can fit the right customer. But FasCard is the right fit when the owner has these really strong emotional ties to coins, or they have an investment hestation that says that they're worried about making an investment over the entire store. I didn't mention it earlier, but typically LaundryCard and FlexRF is a full commitment to the store. You do every machine or none of them. I would not recommend. In fact, I don't think we will even offer a bid on a store that does a partial LaundryCard or a partial FlexRF. You have to commit to doing every machines, and there's some really strong reasons behind that we can go over. But FasCard is different. It can allow an owner to self-budget an installation over time. There is no minimum card reader purchase. You can start with 5 card readers, maybe on your 5 biggest machines, and then add card readers over time. So that puts the store owner in a great sense of control. It gives them a great sense of being able to add card readers, one, as customers start to ask, and that's something that we see happen very commonly. Is we put it on our 5 biggest machines, and then the customers really like the idea of using their credit cards there, and then they say, hey, I want to use my credit card on the dryer, or I want to use it on a smaller machine. And so you start to feel more confident as a store owner that this is the right direction, and they can start to add card readers as their budget allows and as the customer demands it. Provides this kind of slow rollout, expand over time. And it also provides the option, and we've had a few customers do this, that once they've converted all the machines, now all the machines are accepting payments through FasCard, that if you are successful in getting customers to either use our credit card or use a loyalty card or use the mobile app or Apple Pay, that you might find by running the reports through the system that you could actually turn off coin on those machines and run now a coinless environment. And you did it over time. You kind of slowly transitioned the customer base over to a coinless solution. So now you get to not only take advantage of all the flexible features, but you get to take advantage of the advanced ROI layers of having a coinless environment, and you did it slowly over time. So we've seen success there. That is an option that exists, and FasCard's a great way to kind of guide someone in that way. I think lastly, the customer profile here is we have store owners that are hyper customer focused, no issue with that. And so those customers say, I want to give every form of payment. I want the ultimate convenience. And so FasCard obviously accepts every form of payment, including coin. And so if you have someone that is just hyper focused on the customer experience, then FasCard may be the right way to go. Now, with all of these options, we need to make sure that we avoid, decision paralysis here. And so when we present these options, I think I would probably recommend not presenting them all up front. I would say ask all the questions about what kind of operator they are and guide them to the right solution here based on what we've talked about. The real problem here is letting customers kind of waffle too long with too many options and not really having a clear understanding of the differences. And so, too many options causes that paralysis. And so we try to avoid that. I think distributors can kind of get in trouble when they act as a catalog. They just open the book and say, here, pick one. We can get you anything out of this book. They don't ask enough questions, and then the buyer makes an uninformed decision. And so we know where that's going to lead at the end of the day. I'm going to encourage everyone to be a true consultant. When customers are struggling to make a decision, maybe, they're not sure where they want to go hybrid or they want to go coinless. But I think most of us kind of see the life that the buyers have. It's time for you to step up and help them make the decision, make a recommendation, say, I would do this. From what I can see about the way you operate your other businesses, the way you live your life, this is the direction I think is going to fit. Your recommendation carries weight. Their success will be attributed to their guidance. Even if you don't guide them to a particular payment product, whatever outcome they have, they're going to somewhat attribute to you. So you might as well guide them to something that has worked, that you've seen work in the past. And that confidence that you will be portrayed in that, it will accelerate the decision. When you say, this is the product I think you should go with, and make that recommendation, that confidence is going to help them make that decision faster. Just saying, again, there are going to be customers going to say, well, show me all the options. And that's fine. People, want to feel well informed. They want to see everything out there. And I just would recommend that we say something along the lines of like, hey, I'm happy to help you find the right solution. But, to avoid overwhelming you in the decision process, let me start with what I know works based on what you have told me. And then take it from there. That positions you as the guide, the consultant. It kind of helps avoid some confusion about them getting lost in all of the features and functions, and it just builds the trust that you're looking for. So in closing, I think we want to make sure that we learn all the systems, get educated, spend time with our team, spend time on these podcasts. Don't just lean into one solution. Make sure that you understand the different options so that you can truly be that consultant. Ask questions, not just about what their budget is, but how they want to operate. We need to find the right solution for our customers. And then, lastly, make confident recommendations. When you match the product to the owner's lifestyle, everybody wins at the end of that. And so there we go. And so in the end, confidence doesn't come from knowing every feature. It comes from understanding the differences and matching the right product to the right owner. Look forward to talking to you in the next episode.